Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm just kind of doing an intro on my next project and video series. This is the locomotive here. It's an Atlas Kato, I guess it's just a Kato. I thought it might be Atlas, but it's a Kato unit. It's an RS-1, painted in the 1950s Canadian National green and gold scheme, numbered 1950. If memory served me correctly, I did a quick check on the history of number 1950 RS1, and Canadian National didn't actually own one. This is a custom painted from my friend who commissioned me to do this project for him. It was originally a Grand Trunk Western, I believe, locomotive, but he wanted his to say Canadian National. It's his railroad, so it's good for him. I like it. So to give you a little idea of what I'm going to do, this locomotive runs very well right now, but part of my routine with doing upgrades is also giving it a little bit of a service. So I've already pulled the couplers, which I really didn't have to do, but then I popped the shell off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart the trucks and the gear towers. I'm going to give them a cleaning, and I'm going to oil and grease them with Teflon grease and lube them up really good so they'll run nice, smooth, and quiet. I'll also put a dab of conductive oil and bearings for the motor to ensure that it's got quiet running as well. Now this already has a DCC decoder installed, a T1 TCS decoder, just hardwired to the original Kato board, and the lighting was upgraded with LEDs and resistors. So on top of doing the maintenance, what I intend to do is upgrade the lighting a little bit more beyond what is done. Just bear with me 2 seconds here. So I've gone and pre-wired, if you can see here, I'll bring in my LED tester, pop up the wires here. Now I've wired these in, I believe, series. So yeah, these lights are the little 603 surface mount LEDs, and I'm going to run these for the number board, side number boards. Now these are translucent plastic with one light channel on each end. I'm going to cut those apart and have 4 separate lights for the number boards on one function, and then separating the main beam light from the headlight and tail light, so they'll operate separate as well. I also did up a couple of the same size light with magnet wire. You can barely see it here on your screen. I'm going to do those as truck lights for the truck under the cab for night operations, so they know when the locomotive is moving in the evening. So once the lighting is done, since it's going to be affixed to the shell, I'm probably going to employ some form of a plug so I can attach it to the decoder and then detach it for any sort of servicing without needing all of these wires, and or I might do the same thing and run wires. I'm not sure. I'm always undecided when that comes up. Depends on the space. But I'm going to remove the decoder and the original board. I'm going to build the Loksound speaker and chamber sound baffle, and I'm going to install a new Loksound 5 board decoder here. So there should be enough room for the speaker on top of this gear tower to clear the light and leave the board alone. So the sound will come from the correct end of the locomotive too. Yeah, so we're upgrading the lighting, we're upgrading the decoder and sound, and giving it a good lubrication, and yeah, a little bit of work that needs to be done to those light channels. Yeah, a little bit of milling down and cutting off and such as that to achieve the lighting effect that I'd like to see. So that is this, and then we'll have a pretty sweet looking and sounding RS-1 for my friend. So that is the introduction. I'm going to start pulling apart the lighting and go from there. Now this is a blank decoder. I'm going to have to download the proper prime mover and sound, and also ask my friend if he just wants to go with a single blat horn or if he wants the I believe it's an M5 or M3K or MK3 Canadian National horn that they used. I might even research the locomotive and see what came with its stock. Anyway, that is it for now. I'll record what I've done as I do it and go from there. Alright. Onward and upward. Okay, so we're back at it here. I'm going to try something here with the camera right in front of my face while I'm working. So I guess the first thing is to start dismantling and cleaning up, and then we'll do the servicing, and then dismantling the lights and do the millwork that needs to be done to the light channels, and then go from there. So it looks to me like some of these are soldered. And I didn't have my soldering iron pre-warmed up. Let's see what's going on here under the electrical tape. Little tip, if you like takeout and you get napkins in an abundance, why not keep them and use them for your modeling? You know, if you don't use them around your house, you can always use them for when you got dirty hands or got to wipe things off or anything like that. It's kind of useful. Okay, so these are actually the decoder wires fed through. Well, that's neat. Look at all the... it's an interesting install. I like seeing stuff from other decoder installers and see how they do things, you know. Sometimes they have neat ideas and you learn from. Others almost seem wasteful. There's some electrical tape under that LED. I like using blue tack or tack-it. It seems to help light bleed or reduce light bleed quite a bit. So these translucent light channels. One LED lights up everything, so I'm thinking trimming them back, separating them is what I'd like to try to do. I'm going to try to dismantle this as delicately as possible, just to try to preserve the components, you know, so you don't have to throw everything away. You can always reuse stuff. But I will cut this solder joint off to start. Now I'm purposefully cutting this motor. The motor leads to gray and the black. Now I cut the gray tight to the metal, and I left a little insulation on the wire there so I know what is it's supposed to be when I install the new decoder. It's kind of a neat little way they installed this, that's for sure, utilizing the original board. So now I'm just going to, I'll pull the light channels out, disconnect the LEDs, and then come back to that later. I will do another bit. Must have seen some moisture somewhere. I'll clean that off a little bit. All in all, other than a little bit of rust, this looks like it's in wonderful condition. So I'll do a video as I'm cleaning the wheels and servicing the gear towers. I'm running out of battery life. We'll consider this a cut.